All right. Good morning, Live Me. Oh, this is perfect timing. We just hit 30 people over on the Live Me, and we are live on YouTube. And Tim Black joins me today. Tim, how are you, buddy?
Man, I'm good, man. I'm hanging in there. How are you, Ron?
I'm good. So let me give you the 411 on what this show is and how it works. So this is Get Your News On with Ron, the world's first viewer-curated streaming news show, which means people send us articles and send us topics, and that's what we talk about for the show. Now, folks know that you're here today, so they're probably going to have some questions for you. But the way we'll do this is, so the people over on the Live Me app, they can hear you, but they can't see you. The people over on the YouTube, they can see you and hear you, and both people will be asking you questions. The Live Me folks get their questions answered a little quicker because I see their questions right away. So that's kind of how people just sort of pick which platform they want. Some people do it on both. You'll notice me like looking around a bunch while you're talking. It's not because I'm not paying attention or you don't have my attention. It's because I'm filtering questions from two different platforms and organizing articles from two different platforms. So what we're going to do, people are going to ask you questions. People are also going to send articles per normal, and we'll just kind of go through them together, and we'll just kind of do the show, the two of us. But people will also ask you questions. So, Tim, I got to start here, to quote the title of one of the greatest books ever written. What happened?
Well, look, first of all, let me say, I like your format, bro. All right, I like this. This is good. We don't know what to expect. I like shit like that, man. So yeah, fantastic. What happened, man? I woke up and I think it was Saturday, bro. I got a message from YouTube saying that this video that I put up, a live stream where I had a guest that we were bullying or something. Like we did something in this video. And when I went to go watch the video, I couldn't watch the video. So luckily the video was on Facebook as well, because I multi-stream. So I didn't watch it right away. I said, you know what? It's Saturday morning. I'll wait. I let my graphics guy Momo know, and I ended up watching it on like Sunday, Monday. And dude, it was a conversation about the Las Vegas massacre. And we were ragging, of course, on the Las Vegas massacre about the shooter, right? And I'm like, where's the bully? I don't understand. Like, there's nothing. So, dude, I got a community strike. I can't live stream, which is mainly what I do. I like live stream like 3 times a day. So it really is making me have to adjust and relook at what I'm doing. Like, dude, like maybe I need to be doing more stuff like Ron, which is live, which I love doing anyway. In person is what I mean. Live on stage, I've been doing that lately. So, dude,
Yeah, I've heard, man.
bro.
Lee says you're doing good.
Yeah, man, I'm having a damn good time. I know that, and people haven't fallen asleep or thrown eggs or anything yet. So yeah, it's pretty good. But YouTube sucks, and they kneecapped me, man. And I'm waiting to hear back about my appeal.
Well, let me ask you this: why do you think this is happening?
Because dude, all I can say is that I think it's bogus, right? I think it's because we ruffle feathers. I mean, I know for a fact that they suppressed my channel. I mean, that I know. I'm not even like, I don't even, like, perfect example, Ron. I have a backup channel. Like this, my main channel, Tim Black TBTV, is not my only YouTube channel. I have a YouTube channel that I haven't posted on in 2 years. I posted a video on it yesterday. It only has 8,000 subscribers. My main channel has 100,000. Do you know that video has about the same amount of views that I would get on my main channel, which has over 100,000 viewers? So I know for a fact that they suppressed my views on my main channel. There's no way that an 8,000 subscriber channel should be competing with your 100,000 subscriber channel. So I know that for a fact. So I know I'm on a blacklist for TBTV, my main channel. That goes without saying. Maybe it's my guest. Maybe it's the topics we choose. Maybe it's that we don't kiss establishment ass. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, I'm in the doghouse in a lot of ways.
I mean, you had Donna Brazil on your show. You dress nice. You got a beautiful background. You do great work. It's so weird that they just decided to single you out all of a sudden. And
Oh,
let me ask you this, because I kind of have my inklings here too. Do you think that this is potentially having some cyclical effects as a result of Russiagate?
I do, man. I mean, let's face it. Like we're the most dangerous people because we don't go along with RussiaGate, but we're not like conservatives. Who I don't know who come up with theories for everything. Like we just do not buy in. So we have a little bit more credibility, and it's with the base of people that the establishment wants to move towards the Russia shit. So when you have us, like people like you and I speaking out and not going with their narrative, I think that is more problematic for what their end goal is, which is to rally the troops around, and say, well, it's Putin and it's Russia, and they can't just discount us as if we were some of the other people on the right, the Paul Joseph Watsons, the Alex Jones, and so many others.
Yeah, I mean, it's really the cyclical effect of all this, and some of us have called this early on that it's like, look, this is a scapegoat situation. This is a new Red Scare. This is hysteria. There's a difference between an investigation and hysteria. We crossed that line a while ago. Now they're coming after independent media. And these people that were celebrating when stuff was happening to folks like Alex Jones, like, look, I don't like Alex Jones either. I don't appreciate his work, but I don't want to see him get kicked off a platform, for holding certain views or asking certain questions, because that kind of creates a dangerous, slippery slope, because then they're going to start going after basically anybody that doesn't toe the establishment line. And now we're seeing that. People were happy when Medium did something with Mike Chernovich and stuff. Like, no, you can't. You disagree with the guy. I disagree with him too. I don't appreciate his work, but it's going to happen to the anti-war left next. And sure enough, it did. And I think this is just another cyclical effect of all that. And
Yeah.
what do you think's going to happen next?
Dude, I don't know, man. I agree with everything you just said. In fact, one of the last videos I put out, now I can still upload videos, I just can't go live. One of the last videos I put out was about Alex Jones. And I said exactly what you're saying. I said, hey, first of all, Alex Jones, he's been doing this shit for 10 years. Like, this is not new. So what could you hold against him now that you weren't holding against him before? So to me, it all seemed fishy that they were even going after Alex. It's just because he's being effective and he's reaching people, but that's no reason why he should be censored. So I definitely support Alex and many others. Hey, look, dude, if they get to say what they want, I get to say what I want and combat it. That's how this shit works. We're supposed to be able to talk back to one another. Now, if you're going to censor Alex, that means they're going to censor others, and I'm definitely against it. But I think what's going to happen, man, I think we're just going to have to rise up. I mean, all of us are going to have to rise up. It's going to eventually be you. Once you get a little bit of momentum, once you get a little bit bigger, Ron, they're going to come for you too, man. They have to. They're not going to let you just be able to speak against their damn narrative. They'd be like, oh, we got to get Ron now. Look at Ron over here with his show to get it on, get your news on. Let's get him on off of YouTube. That's what we're going to do. Let's get his ass. So, yeah, we got to stand up, bro.
So you don't think like it's worth it because if they do keep stifling all of us and censoring all this, there's a good chance that next election there won't be a Rainbow Bernie with abs meme that throws the election. So you don't think that that's all worth it?
Yeah, man, those memes are really powerful, man. Dude, they when they're gonna realize they can't control the internet, man. Like, it's built to not be controlled. They're trying.
They're trying, yeah. And they could. I mean, they certainly could, unfortunately.
Dude, I don't think they can control it enough. I mean, I think it's like trying to put, I don't know, the toothpaste back in the tube, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course they can suppress, they can chase the tail, they can run me off Facebook, run me off Twitter, run me off YouTube, but there'll be other places to go. And then at the end of the day, I just end up at people's houses. I just end up on people's stages. So what you gonna do about that? All right, what you gonna do, YouTube motherfuckers? What you gonna do? I just said, motherfucker. What you gonna do?
I like it. Yeah, you know what? I'm actually one of the things I'm doing here in 2018 is I'm actually doing a house tour. I've got a couple dates booked so far. So yeah, I feel you, man. I'm all about like just taking it directly to the people. But all right, so let's go to an article. And guys, for everyone just tuning in, I know we started a few minutes early. That's atypical for me. Feels pretty good. But we are live with Tim Black. A lot of you guys know his show. A lot of you guys know what's been going on with him. Feel free to ask him any questions you want to ask him. We're also going to go to your articles and kind of do a typical Get Your News On with Ron procedure here. Right. Which I've never actually done a procedure with a guest before, Tim. You're the first person that I've straight up done like every other time it's just been a straight up interview. But yeah,
man. Let me do what you do, man. I'm in Ronville. Let me do what the Ronians do.
I like it. No All right, so this is from Marcus, and let me go ahead and give this a Get Your News On with Ron retweet. And Marcus just signed in. Perfect timing, Marcus. Get Your News On with Ron. So me and Tim are both going to respond to this one. And Marcus points out the disclaimer he gave here. I agree with the decision, but not the reason. All right, so let's go to see what Marcus sent in here. Georgia's Senate committee votes to remove tax break that would benefit Delta. All right, so he agrees with the decision. He does not agree with the reason. And a really big ass ad just popped up. You guys know how I get annoyed with that. All right, a Georgia Senate committee has moved to get rid of a part of the bill that includes a tax break that would benefit Delta Airlines after the airline sought to distance itself from the National Rifle Association. Okay, I totally see. Marcus, I understand your disclaimer. He's like, yeah, Delta shouldn't be getting that. Delta shouldn't be getting that tax break. But you're doing this because they distance themselves from the National Rifle Association. One of those things. Broken clock is right twice a day, but this clock just broke itself for all the wrong reasons. Tim, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, man. I see where Marcus is coming from. I look, I am pissed off about the NRA and the money that they give out, man. But dude, I'm looking at all the other industries to do the same thing. We should be just as pissed off about the pharmaceutical industry, pissed off about Wall Street and all the other, the big money that's going in their direction to lobbyists. But yeah, I feel you, man. I don't love Delta. They had me on a layover when I went to Portland, and I was stuck in the fucking airport for 4 hours. I'm really not a Delta fan, but I see your point, man.
Delta does this thing where they treat you like you're an Olympic athlete. Like they're like, if you're ever flying Delta, get ready to run to your connecting flight. Like they treat you like time's just not a factor. You can get over in like an airport like that. Now, if you do tweet them, they will respond to your tweets, which is fun. And I just said, hey, Delta, thank you for the free workout. Although in the future, I'm not a professional athlete and I'm carrying bags here. And a lot of people just straight up didn't make it. Like it's like, I don't know if that's something they do all the time, but I know in my experience with them, they give you this like turnaround time where it's just like, okay, your connecting flight, you land at 12:20. Your connecting flight leaves at 12:22, and you have to get from gate C to gate F, and go fuck yourself, Delta. That's like the official. I think go fuck yourself was on the ticket in like small print. Like they have those disclaimers at the bottom, and then at the very bottom it just said "Go fuck yourself, Delta." I don't remember for sure.
I think Delta was that airline that kicked that guy's ass, man. Who didn't want to give up his seat too. I think that was Delta. I don't know, bro.
Was that Delta? Or yeah, it's a shame I'm not remembering off the top of my head which airline that was.
You got paid too. You got paid, I think. I don't know. I hope I'm getting that right. If I'm not getting it right, my bad. I think it's Delta.
Whoever, yeah. I mean, whatever happened, that person I hope got, all the money for the rest of their lives. And I mean, we saw what happened. We saw the video of what happened. Yeah. I want to say it was not Delta, but I can't remember for sure. You might be right. But anyway, I mean, Marcus points out it was United.
United. Thank you. Mm-hmm. All right. Well,
someone in the chat also points it out too. See, that's the fun thing about this, man. You get like, you got like, the audience is the executive producer of this show. They filter these, so they also fact check too. It's very nice. It's really cool. So yeah, that was United. But regardless, I hope that guy got a hell of a settlement. And I hope he got them for every dime they're worth. But Carib Moth says, I heard once that Delta stands for "Don't expect luggage to arrive." Nice.
Good one. Nice. Yeah.
Nice. All right. So let's move on. Thank you for sharing that, Marcus. Derek Roberts points out that it was the Russians. Oh, boy. All right. Let's see what else we got here. And, guys, feel free to ask some questions to Tim if you're wondering about what's going on. This is from Edwin, and Edwin has a disclaimer, too. So if this is from yesterday, it's kind of a long article. A progressive Democrat was blasted by her own party and advanced in the Texas primary. So we all know the primary happened yesterday. The progressive that was hoping to primary out Ted Cruz, she did not win. But despite only spending $4,000, she got 20% of the vote. So that's a good thing. So let's see what this is in reference to. Progressive Democrat blasted by her own party advances in the Texas primary. A progressive Democrat attacked by the DCCC advanced in the primary vote for a Texas congressional seat on Tuesday. This is Laura Moser, the activist and writer who withstood the broadside from the House Democrats' campaign arm, emerged as one of the party's two potential nominees for the 7th District. In a crowded Democratic field, none of the 7 contenders in the Houston area district received the 50% plus 1 needed to win outright. Moser now heads to a May 24th runoff election against corporate lawyer Lizzie Fletcher, who led the primary field to determine which Democrat faces Republican John Culberson, a 9-term Republican, in November's general election. I'm really glad that she's moving forward. I'm stoked for that. And you know what? Let's try to get her on the show. Pasta, try to get her on the show. Her name is Laura Moser. And, you know, she's moving forward. She's going to make it to the runoff in May. She made it to the runoff in May. Let's try to get her on the show. Tim, what are your thoughts?
Man, I just want to salute her. Laura Moser, you really kicked some butt. If Ron said $4,000 and you got 20% of the vote.
Oh, no, that's someone else. That was someone else.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, that was the person that was trying to primary out Ted Cruz, and she had a big establishment Democrat candidate. She did not. She did not win. But she had a hell of a showing, considering this is a different district. But yeah, this woman is moving forward. It was Sema Hernandez. Joe points out was the person.
Oh, Sema, yeah. Sema, yeah. I had Sema on the show before. That's good that she did that.
Yeah, she did a heck of a job. Unfortunately, she's not moving forward. But Laura made the runoff. So that's
okay. I got you. Well, thank you for clearing that up there, Ron.
Yeah, sorry.
But my kudos to Laura Stan, and I like the progressive cojones. So look, if once you finish with the Ron Placone show, hopefully I'll be able to stream. You can come over to my show as well. So that'd be great.
Yeah, you know, so here's where I'm at now. And people like, there's all these folks that are like on the left, at least according to them, that say that we need incrementalism. We need, you know, to kind of move slowly and this and that. And, you know, we have to quote unquote unite. Meanwhile, it's like when you give people nothing to vote for, which is what establishment candidates offer. They give you nothing to vote for. They only give you something to vote against. But when you give people something to vote for, that's when people really show up. And that's why I'm going to be behind the progressive 100% of the time. A, their policies are more in line with mine. B, I think that has a better chance, especially in red states anyway. Bernie Sanders was going to red states getting standing ovations because he was seeing through the BS messaging, and he was really telling people in plain language what he wanted to do. And people were connecting with that because healthcare as a right isn't some foreign concept that Bernie Sanders invented. It's actually something most of the industrialized world, in fact, all of the industrialized worlds besides us, takes for freaking granted. That message is really starting to come through in the heartland and everywhere else. So I really hope this woman moves forward in November, because I don't think the establishment Democrat would have a chance. Because if you're given the choice between a Republican and a Republican, why not choose the flipping Republican? Especially in a place like Texas. What do you think, Tim?
I agree with you, you know, and I support progressive candidates who I think will go in and shake things up. You know, as long as you're willing to go against the status quo and you're willing to not take money, you know, you want to keep money out of politics. Like, that's my main criteria with any candidate. Once I hear that, then we can have that conversation, man. But my thing is, if you're going to bow down to establishment Democrats and you say, well, you know, it's safer this way, you're kind of missing the whole point of voting. Voting should be about what you want. into what you see the future to be. Now, when it comes down to it, let's say in this race with Laura Moser, I don't know. Let's say it comes down to it, and you live there, and you're like, okay, for whatever reason, I don't even put any negative stuff out in the ether. I'm just saying, if you got to make a hard decision at the end of the day, I understand if you live in a place where you have to make that call. Okay, I get it, but as a rule, I go with my heart. I go with what I think I want my children, the kind of world I want my children to live in, and those are the type of candidates that I support, and I stand by that.
Right on, Tim. So a bunch of people want us to get to this article, so we're going to get to this next. And guys, feel free to submit your questions for Tim via YouTube and via the Live Me. I know I'm trying to monitor the chat the best I can. I might have missed a couple things, but people are also tweeting us articles. I'm trying to monitor all of the above. And this is from Tim. Tim sends us this. This is from the antimedia.org. Facebook's secret file on you is bigger than you think. Here's how to view it. Oh, snap. All right. So Facebook's user data gathering prowess has been common knowledge for some time now, but one journalist's impromptu experiment suggests it's even more ubiquitous and pervasive than previously believed. A large part of Facebook's business model is selling the information it collects about users to advertisers. It's free to us because we're the product. Its algorithms track your posts, likes, shares, and preferences, of course, but they also track your overall internet activity. That means porn history, everybody. Disclaimer. That means porn history. Okay, so Wingham downloaded his Facebook files and was stunned by the specificity of the information. So let's see. Even if you're not logged on to Facebook, your browsing behavior is tracked by secret trackers called pixels, which are embedded on over 10,000 websites. Sorry, social media Luddites. Even if you've never used Facebook, your online activity is tracked every time you merely visit a website that contains Facebook ads and trackers, which I'd imagine is pretty much every website because Facebook's freaking huge. All right, so how do you get to see these? All right, here we go. To download your secret Facebook file, and of course I retweeted this article, guys, if you want to have it for reference later. To download your secret Facebook file, click at the top right of Facebook's navigation bar and select Settings. Then click Download a copy of your Facebook data beneath General Account Settings and click the green button. Then wait 10 minutes and you should receive an email letting you know that surveillance capitalism is alive and well. I like the prose in this article. This was a fun written article. Let me give a shout out to the author here. Who wrote this article? Somebody did. That's for sure. Jake Anderson. I like your prose, Jake. I dig it. Wow, Tim, are you going to go download that right away?
Yeah, I'm looking. I want to retweet you right now. It sounds very interesting, man. I'd like to know what they got on the brother, bro. Because yeah, this is horrific. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's something. I was just like watching Snowden recently, and it's one of the things that we kind of have just accepted that we really live in a state of nonstop surveillance. But then when you really take a step back, you realize how scary that actually is. And we've just commonly accepted it. I mean, it started with the Patriot Act, where we were willing to trade off our liberties and our right to privacy for quote unquote security. Yeah. And then it just kept expanding. And all the people that talk about how dangerous Trump is just, voted to continue unlimited surveillance. They voted to continue to give him unlimited FISA power. That's something the quote unquote resistance is doing. So yeah, and now Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg is a, neoliberalism capitalist, who I think intends to run for president at some point. What do you think about that, Tim?
I think he's got something he wants to do. I think he has his eyes set somewhere. I mean, he's already rich as can be. I don't, power would only be the natural progression for that, type of narcissism you got to have to want to be one of those guys, man. I don't know, bro. I look at Facebook. I know what excuse can we make for letting this be okay with us to let Facebook have all that data like that? I mean, you pointed out the Patriot Act. At least they scared us. At least they scared us like, okay, we need to protect you. So this is what we have to do. What does Facebook need to do? They need to know your recipes.
Well, they're scaring us again, and this time it's under the big bad boogeyman is Russia. I mean, the FBI is monitoring social media more than ever before as a result of Russiagate, and this is what they wanted. Silicon Valley is determining what is and isn't free speech. They decided that apparently what you were doing was not free speech. This is all a cyclical effect of the Russia hysteria. That's why when you see people push this stuff without being critical and without having an objective critical lens, it's disturbing. And it's very, you understand why the people in the corporate media are doing this, because they're just benefiting from the ratings of it, and they don't have any journalistic integrity. But when you see people in the independent sphere just uncritically pushing this stuff, you're like, what are you doing? You're eating your own. And, it's going to be one of those scenarios. First, they came for the communists. I did not speak out. First they came for our teen. I did not speak out. Then they came for Tim Black, and I did not speak out. Well, then they came to me, and there was no one left to speak for me. And they took the internet too.
It's crazy, man. And you're right. First of all, they don't have a problem with Trump. They really don't. It's all window dressing, man. They go along pretty much with what he, with his policies. They feign, oh no, Trump, but they gave the guy how much, like $7 billion more than what he asked for his military. I forget what number that was. But yeah, they're exceeding his expectations for how pliable the Democrats are being to Trump's initiatives. And so, yeah, they want to scare us with that. I say that at the end of the day, the Russian narrative, it was all a smokescreen to take what they wanted to take from us. But still, Zuckerberg, man, that guy scares me, man. So does Jeff Bezos, man. I'm watching this guy too.
Jeff Bezos, I mean, he just Amazon is trying to develop a currency. I covered that on my show, and we're going to do a longer segment on it over on the Jimmy Dore Show soon here. And so they have a currency now. And I mean, the only thing that Jeff Bezos has left to get into is water. And if he starts making deals with like Nestle, and if he starts like maybe getting involved in like some, like some waterways and stuff like that, I mean, it's over. And I say this slightly tongue in cheek, but I mean, we could see the day where we say all hail Emperor Bezos, and if you don't say that, you go to fucking jail.
Wow. Kim Jong-un style, huh?
I mean, think about it. The guy, he controls distribution. He controls DC in the chat points out Bezos bucks. That's a reference to a joke that we did on the Jimmy Dore Show. We did a Jimmy Dore Show segment where we're saying, Jeff Bezos is getting involved in all this type of stuff. You know what's going to come next? Bezos bucks. And then what happened a few months later, he actually does it. Which means maybe Jeff Bezos watches our show and he saw that and he thought, oh, good idea. I'm going to do that. He actually did it. We made a joke about it. He's doing it. They're getting involved with currency and they want it to be people's main. Kimmy says that she's happy you're here, Tim. She says hi and she's happy to see you here. Her exact words were Tim woot woot.
Thank you. Jimmy, what's up?
So, yeah, I mean, like, he's actually doing it. He's actually doing currency. It's beyond scary. We got some questions in the chat for you, Kim. Tim. So, Derek says that Bezos, Zuckerberg, and Page are spying on us right now, but only to keep us safe. Lady Vijay says, question for Tim. Do you feel optimistic about this year's midterms? Why or why not?
Dude, I'm always torn. I'm always torn because, yeah, I'm against, established Democrats, right? I don't, neoliberals who want to, globalize everything. They want to ship out the jobs and they want to let corporations run amok. Okay, so I'm against that. But I'm also against like Republicans who basically bend over for corporations, and they bend us over without our permission for corporations as well. So I'm pissed off. And what I don't like is that Democrats, they get too bold now. Like they're like, oh, look at us, we're winning. They did the same thing with the Alabama race with the Doug Jones. And, look at us, we beat a pedophile. Like, really? That's what we did? So that bothers me that they're getting wins, Ron, when they don't deserve them. You know, so like I like the progressives that are coming out, the socialists, the Democratic Socialists that won recently. If I see more of that, then I'll feel better. Put it that way.
So you mean like you are not totally inspired by Doug Jones' message, which was so inspiring, it was less than 2 percentage points more popular than a pedophile. You weren't like, oh, we solved everything. This guy should run for president. Look at how people love him. He's less than 2 percentage points more popular with than a pedophile. Oh, by the way, voted with Trump and the Republicans 100% of the time since he's been in. Voted with Trump and the Republicans 100% of the time. These establishment Democrats, they're not even, we shouldn't let them call themselves liberals anymore. Because even that is inaccurate. They're not even liberals. They're liberals in the Phil Oakes sense. And even that's being generous. And honestly, not enough people have heard that song. People have, but not enough people. They're conservatives. They are Starbucks conservatives. They're conservatives that have a gay friend and are stuck in 2004. That's what they are. Psaki calls them Republicrats. We have a couple names. We have cappuccino conservatives. Marcus coined that one. We also have Starbucks conservatives, corporate apologists, and of course you can go with neoliberal,
limousine liberals, porcelain progressives.
So I can't. All right, so we got some more questions for you, Tim. What do you guys think? Oh, Broken Carpenter says, Broken Carpenter, thank you so much for your super chat contribution. Tim and Ron, what is the next YouTube type platform option?
Oh, wow. Well, I know of a few. MeWe.com was one I was told about a year ago, man. Steam It is the one people have been talking about. BitChute. There's several of them out there. The problem is they take time to build up, and you actually have to have time to go to them to kind of test them out and kind of get used to them because all of them work a little bit differently. So that's going to be on us and Ron as well, all of us, to kind of acclimate ourselves to the new platforms and to really give them a try and realize we ain't in Kansas no more, and we probably never were. So we need to go somewhere else.
So, yeah, I mean, I know that in D.C. Over here on the chat, first of all, he pointed out Lakeside Liberals is another one. A couple of people, Sake submitted Hillary Industrial Complex and Corporate Supremacist. I like that one. That's a great one, Sake.
That's damn.
And also, D.C. points out that D-Live is another great one. D-Live is a pretty awesome one. And that's basically you can stream off of Steemit. That's how you stream off of Steemit.
See, I didn't even know that. D-Line.
I didn't know that either. DC and I collaborate on some stuff, and we talk regularly. And he was telling me about that. He's like, yeah, you can totally stream on DTube now. And you know who figures out everything first? Is that Google? Or are they pissed off at both of us? Is that Google? Did they call you? Is Google on the phone right now, Tim? Are they like, look, we told you to stay away. Who's this Ron guy? Fuck him. He sucks.
Right. Here you go. Look, Tim Black, we're not going to reinstate you. You messing with Ron Placone, him and that Jimmy Dore guy. Get the hell out of here.
But yeah, you know who figures out everything first? Lee Camp figures out everything first.
What?
That guy is always first, man. He's so good at that stuff. Like, he figured out Steemit like that. Like, and he's dominating on Steemit right now.
They've been screwing. Lee's in that position where he's been getting screwed over so perfectly. Like, they're really like, he's the litmus test for how badly they can do you on Facebook. He was like reaching like he was adding 5,000 new followers every week. And now it's moved to like maybe 100. So like, he's been really pissed off. A lot of incentive for him to get the hell off Facebook and the hell off YouTube. Plus he's got that fucking disclaimer at the bottom. God, man, I know that pisses him off every time he comes in. He's got to look at that shit like, this is funded partially by the Russian government. Like, come on, man. Lee's from Richmond.
Yeah, and that calls back to the FARA Act, which was installed in the first place to combat Nazis, not left-wing voices, freaking Nazis. That's why that thing it hasn't been used on a media outlet in years, in decades. Now all of a sudden they're using it not just against RT, because they're like, well, we can't just do it on one. So they went to Chinese outlets next. They get it to Xinghai. Because, you know, who are we going to scapegoat next? Probably China. You know, first Russia, next it's going to be China. You know, I mean, it's going to go in the list of power. Al Jazeera, America shut down. Eventually, they're going to hit even the BBC. You know, they're going to go from the people that they like least to the people they like most. And you know what? No country is doing that to our bureaus elsewhere. No country is doing that. Not even Russia. Russia's not doing that to American bureaus.
I thought they were going to do us. I thought they were going to get us back and do the same thing. They didn't do it, huh?
There's been some grumblings. They're not happy, but it's not really happening. Oh, and DC shouts out that Caitlin Johnstone, also somebody that's really kicking ass on Steam It. We got some more questions here. So Stephanie asks, what do you guys think of Nunberg on TV all day the other day?
Go ahead, Ron. You go first. I'll play cleanup battle on this one.
I think that I think he's got to quit day drinking. I think that's got to be the first thing he does. He needs to stop day drinking. I think this dude just kind of hit his breaking point. And Trump, he burned his bridge with Trump. They had a falling out. So he's pissed off about the whole Russiagate thing. But he also is pissed off about the whole establishment thing as a whole. And he kind of just lashed out about all of it. Nothing that he said, I thought, was anything that we didn't kind of already know. I mean, you know, he basically said, this is ridiculous. Why should I turn over all of my emails? He defended Trump. He's like, I despise Trump. But this whole thing has gotten to the point of absolutely ridiculousness. And that's kind of what he said in a kind of drunken stupor manner. What do you think, Tim?
I agree, man. Nuremberg, that's his name? Nuremberg. He's like a Nuremberg. He's like an iceberg. That's what he is. with a real Slim Shady or Snitch Shady, please stand up. This guy, he couldn't wait to tell. This guy's horrible, man. Like this guy, I seen him rat out Trump, did the Papadopoulos, Manafort, Flynn. He just Scaramucci's like he was just running down a list of throwing everyone under the bus, and then he's so afraid of Mueller, dude, Mueller. He all I can say is this guy is not somebody I would like having my back in any way at all. Okay, at all. This guy's horrible. And I don't know what they really have on him. I like to see just to laugh, the comedy from it, the material we get from it. Ron, would be great.
Yeah, and I wouldn't want him to have my back at a bar either. He seems like the guy where you're like, dude, I think we're done. He's like, no shots. I don't think we should shots, bro. I got a CNN spot later. Shots.
Right. Officer, I'm a little high. I'm a little drunk. Can I get directions? So is my friend Ron.
DC refers to him as the Pete Best of the Trump world. I like that. That's a good reference. And the latest is that he's going to do what they want. I mean, he later backpedaled. He said, look, I'll give them whatever they want. I'll cooperate. And then after he's done cooperating, he's going to go to rehab. But you know what? My other thing that has been of interest to me that's going on in the news is yesterday, Chuck Todd was trending on Twitter. Do you know why Chuck Todd was trending on Twitter, Tim?
No idea.
So this is kind of an abbreviation, but Chuck Todd was trending on Twitter because everybody on all sides of the political aisle, from the far left to the far right to the establishment center, everything in between, are all in unison over how dumb he is. Chuck Todd is, in fact, as dumb as we thought. And Chuck Todd had an interview with Roger Stone. And in the interview, it's obvious he's not able to follow anything Roger Stone is saying. He's making Roger Stone look like a freaking intellectual. Chuck Todd's doing this because Chuck Todd is, in fact, that dumb. I know it's not nice to use that kind of a superlative, but I'm sorry. I think in some cases, that's where you got to go with this. Chuck Todd is literally that dumb. He's going like Roger Stone's bringing up the Panama Papers. He's bringing up WikiLeaks. He's bringing up the Podesta corruption. All the things you're not allowed to mention on MSNBC. Roger Stone is bringing up all of them. And after he's done, Chuck Todd's response is, when was the last time you talked to Trump? Chuck Todd has no clue what's going on. So the establishment is pissed off at Chuck Todd because he didn't push back against what Roger Stone was saying at all. And it's all the stuff you're not allowed to say on MSNBC. The right wing is mad at Chuck Todd because, you know, he's trying to bait their boy. And the left wing is mad at Chuck Todd because we're always mad at Chuck Todd because Chuck Todd is so dumb. He's not even convinced that climate change is real because he's that dumb. And he just got his ass handed to him by Roger Stone. How far has our media fallen? And the answer is it's fallen past the floor. I mean, it's in the sewer at this point. But how miserably do you have to fail to make Roger Stone look like an intellectual and not be able to push back on anything he's saying because you have no clue what he's talking about? You have no clue what he's talking about because it wasn't spoon-fed to you by your producer, and it wasn't on a piece of paper for you to read it off of. Holy shit, Chuck Todd. How pathetic are you? Even somebody that's just mildly paying attention to politics would have been able to have a more constructive conversation with him than you were. You had no clue what he was saying. It isn't even you agreed or disagreed. It just went over your head. You had no clue. You had to move on to your next question. Anyway, guys, watch that clip for some good comedy gold. It's unreal.
Hey, look, I would say this, like, okay, Rod, so being a person who was new to interviewing like hostile guests, you know, I had issues with Donna Brazile. Donna Brazile, I knew that she could come in and clean my clock. I mean, she's been doing this. She trains politicians. People don't get that. She trains. She's not only a professor, I think, at Georgetown. She trains politicians in how to avoid answering questions. That's what she does. I'm going to give you something no one else knows. I asked Donna Brazile 3 questions about Seth Rich in a row. Those questions were crafted by Lee Camp. I reached out to Lee and said, hey, I want to ask her about Seth Rich. How can I have a follow-up built in so she can't just skirt away? You know, there were people who didn't know that Lee Camp gave me that. He sent me, said, hey, ask her this, then ask her this, and ask her this. This will lock her in. At least she'll get a response. There are people, Ron, who said, Tim, I wish Lee Camp would have asked her about Seth Rich. You suck. They didn't know that I was reading from what he wrote. So what I'm saying is there are people who get pissed off, and these people, when they're not doing it, they armchair quarterback. They tell you what you should have done differently. I'll say this. Sometimes when I was interviewing Donna Brazile, I don't know if Chuck Todd did this, I was so watching, I wanted to make sure I got through all my questions, right? Because they were submitted from other people. And I didn't want people to hang me out the job because I didn't ask the question that I kind of, when I knew she wasn't going to be honest, I kind of just moved on. Looking back, I wish maybe I would have said, fuck it. If I don't get to all the questions that everybody asked me to give them, like H.A. Goodman, Anoa Changa, you know, Lee Camp, other people who submitted questions, it'll be okay. Chuck Todd, it's a little bit different. He's got a little bit more muscle than Tim Black with a YouTube channel. Maybe it'd be a little bit harder for her to hang up, or a little bit harder for Roger Stone just to get up and walk out. I also had that hanging over my head. I just say it's not always easy to interview a person who doesn't want to, you know, answer your questions, and maybe there's some stuff to learn about how to do that. But it does sound bad. It sounds like Chuck he should have more swag than me, and he should be able to, you know, at least go there a little bit with Roger Stone. Not allow him just to dance. You know, yeah, I relate to that.
All right, and everybody, you should check out that interview. Please check out Tim Black's interview with Donna Brazile. Don't give any more away. Let's have people check it out for themselves, because I didn't get to check out that full interview, but you know, I really want to dive into those particular questions. Marcus points out that Adam Schiff got clowned by Tucker Carlson. Marcus, please send that over, because I don't like Tucker Carlson, but I really do not like Adam Schiff.
Right.
Why don't I like Adam Schiff? Because I'm a comedian. You know the most annoying person in the world? A freaking wannabe comedian. You know what Adam Schiff is? A freaking wannabe comedian. And he's a corporatist who's using local money. He's using his paycheck to just inflate himself and inflate his own ego and parrot Russiagate 20 hours a day and trying to be funny while doing it. That's all he's doing. He's not doing anything for the people of California. He's not doing anything for his district. We just had single payer shelved here in this freaking state. He said nothing about it because he doesn't give a shit. He's just inflating Russiagate for his own ego. And you know what, Adam? If you really want to be in show business, how about you get out of office? And guess what? You're in Burbank, Adam. All the freaking studios are right there. Go audition for something like everyone else, you no talent ass clown. All right, moving on. And Marcus, send that to me, please.
Ron, I saw something that you know about this more than I do probably. I saw where Adam Schiff, how many appearances this motherfucker's been making surrounding the whole Russia thing, this whole investigation. Like, dude, I was like, I don't want to give him too many, I don't want to get it wrong, but I know it was like 200 appearances or something. It's like crazy numbers that Adam Schiff has appeared on all these different networks, giving all these interviews. So he has really raised his stock using our taxpayer money in this damn witch hunt bullshit.
Well, Adam, hey, if you're watching this, we were actually once on a show at the same time. I wasn't allowed to ask you any questions. My mic was muted and I wasn't allowed to ask you any questions, maybe because I would have asked you something hard. But you can come on this show and you can take any questions that the Get Your News On with Ron viewers have. And I can assure you, Adam, the president of show business watches my show on a regular basis. There is a president of show business, Adam. I'm sure you believe me because you're dumb. But there is the president of show business. He watches this show on a regular basis. So you might not like all the questions you get, but the president of show business will be watching, and you might just get that movie role after all. The movie role will be about a courageous congressman that totally falls for propaganda and screws over his district. You'll get the lead. It'll be amazing. So anyway, sometimes, Tim, I just send open letters to different people live on the stream. Sometimes I just do that, and I just did that for Adam Schiff. All right, let's move on because we have more stuff to get to. Pasta sends this article. Kate says, did you talk about Brazil mentioning Seth Rich? Creepy and sad to me. We did mention that. Tim mentioned that that was actually, those were Lee Camp's questions that he was using, and you guys should totally go over to Tim's channel and check out that clip. That's one of those things you really got to watch it for yourself. And Tim did a good job. I'm going to check out the extended version myself too, because I haven't seen it all. I've seen part of the interview. I haven't seen the whole thing myself, Tim. So let's move on to another article here, and let me give it a Get Your News On with Ron retweet. And this is we're staying here in California. California's Democratic primary and the sham of elections. Oh, and Kate also says that she loves you, Tim. You got your people here. All right, so California's Democratic primary and the sham of elections. The recent California Democrats state convention denied Dianne Feinstein an endorsement for a 5th full term, although the party machine and her bank account are still in her favor. There are signs of dissent and youthful unrest among Democrats, and not just in California, though anyone hoping to reform the party must first break the death grip of the old guard. Reformers also will inherit clever partisan maneuvers that have become quicksand and Machiavellian inspirations that became institutional iron traps. Let's see. Shortly before California's Prop 14 appeared on the ballot in June 2010, the topic of the top 2 primary system came up at a dinner party where I was a guest. An active member of the Democratic Party expressed enthusiasm, saying it would make it tougher for third parties to distract voters. Those were her words. If you're a third party person, if you're a progressive, if you have ideas that are different from the establishment, you're a distraction. That's according to the California Democratic Party, allegedly one of the most progressive states in the country. That's what we're told. But this is what their Democratic establishment thinks. You're a distraction. If leading Democrats in California really want to make elections fair and democratic, they don't. They would endorse and campaign in earnest for instant runoff voting or ranked choice voting. So why don't they? Kind of a rhetorical question. What do you think, Tim?
I mean, look, the California Democratic dude, when they shitted on single payer, man, I was done with them. Right? Like, oh, we got the perfect opportunity, and then what do? They just say, hey, we can't get it done. And then there was a lot of distraction being done to try to mitigate their decision not to go forward with it. So like, I don't know much about California politics other than the establishment folks that are in the House. Those folks are the ones that are, slowing down progression. And Dianne Feinstein, dude, Dude, we need new blood. How about some blood? How about a person with actual blood in their veins? Like a person who actually, in some way, can relate.
Tim, you know what, man? I hate to cut you off here, but you're being a little ageist. Just because Dianne Feinstein is 492 years old doesn't mean she doesn't have blood anymore. You have no scientific evidence to back that up.
I think she's got fracking oil running through her veins at this point.
Yes, for the win. Love it.
Thank you, brother.
All right, please continue.
No, man, I'm serious, man. I just think it's sad, man. What you know, and you're right. California does have the reputation of being this progressive, forward-thinking state. And then when you start peeling away and looking deeper at it, you're like, oh man, these guys told the corporate Democrat line all the way, man. It's like neoliberalism. And I don't know, man. What do you think about? I'm gonna ask you a question. Ro Khanna. I know he's California. I know he's a senator. I've interviewed him. He is a straight shooter on some issues. Some other issues I have questions about, but you know him better than I do, being as you're in California. What do you think?
I like Ro. Overall, I like Ro. I see him battle with having to play the game for his own political future and standing up for what he believes in. I see him battling with that. Has he been perfect in that battle? Absolutely not. You know who has been perfect in that battle? Freaking nobody. Nobody ever. You know, when it comes to the big issues, Ro is for the policies I'm for. You know, I'm not here to say the guy's flawless. He's not. By his own admission, he's not. But, you know, overall, I think he's one of the good guys. You know, he has yet to prove me otherwise. Some of his endorsements have been disappointing. Some of his approaches have been disappointing. But, you know, when it comes to policy, when it comes to the policies this guy's really fighting for, net neutrality, money out of politics, he really stuck his chin out on that one.
Yeah, he did.
You know, single payer, he's really condemning the Democrats when they go along with the establishment. I think he's still one of the people that's in the right corner. So I do like Ro. Now, getting to the California Democratic Party as a whole, I mean, this is one of those things. They are notorious for screwing over the opposition. They did it to Jaffe. They told Jaffe, hey, these are the signatures you need. For anyone not in the know, I know pretty much all you guys do know this that watch this show, but Jaffe's the guy running against Pelosi. He's trying to primary out Pelosi. Jaffe was told he had to get these amount of delegate signatures. He got it. He played by the rules. And then what happened to him? They told him, oh, wait, no, you needed to get all this other stuff. All these other delegates we never even told you about. You needed to get these signatures, and you didn't have them, so screw you. That's why he's suing them. Single payer. The nurses were told, worry about this in your single payer bill. Worry about XYZ, and we'll take care of the rest. Well, the nurses worried about XYZ, and what did they do? They said, hey, the rest isn't in this bill, so this bill sucks. You suck. That's what they did. They screwed over Maria Estrada, as Kimmy pointed out. Maria Estrada is trying to primary out Rendon, who, by the way, screwed this state out of single payer. Oh, and when the nurses protested this, what were they told at the DNC? They were told to shut the fuck up and get out. That is verbatim what they were told. They were told to shut the fuck up and get out. And at the California Democrat Convention, I didn't go to the convention itself because I'm a fan of not vomiting. Jimmy did go to the convention itself. I was lucky. I just got to go to our comedy show, and I just got to go to the burner after parties. I was happy as a clam not having to go through that establishment bullshit earlier. But Jimmy went to it. He covered it. And he talked about a segment where David Dayen was speaking. When he talked about the problem of money in politics, you could hear crickets. When he talked about Russia, people got to their feet. Priorities are backwards. This party is pretty much dead in the water the way I see it. And it's one of those things. There are so many things in place. Am I against the hijacking of the party? No, I'm not against it. I just recognize the super long road that it is. And it's one of those scenarios. That's why I'm leaning more towards third party. Because, yes, both approaches are a long, hard road. Both approaches are going to take a lot of work and a lot of effort. But it's like one of those things. There's a lot of us. And we're trying to break into this castle. And while we're trying to break into this castle, they're pouring molten lava on us, and we're getting flipped off by trolls that have I'm with her t-shirts on. Man, maybe it'd be more productive if we all just gathered together, stopped getting burned by molten lava and built our own freaking castle. That's why I was at the Convergence conference. That's why I was there when we presented the Bernie, the petitions to Bernie. And Tim, you were there too. We were both there. And I really wish Bernie would have signed on to that. I don't know why he didn't. I'm hoping he's playing some kind of three-dimensional chess that I'm not aware of. But man, I really think at this point the Democrats are just beyond hijacking and beyond saving, because they have too many things in place to avoid that from happening. And this Truth Dig article points to that. The behavior of the DCCC points to that. The behavior of the Democrats in California point to that. How many more slaps in the face can progressive take before we realize this is just a done deal? We have to do something else. Either start a new viable third party, green enter, stick to movements exclusively, become a voting bloc that can't be ignored. But we got to do something. Playing ball with the Democrats ain't cutting it. Tim, what do you think?
Wow, brother. Yeah, I support third party. I do. I think that we need a third party. I think we need viable options to the duopoly, and that's where we're at. And if we spend all our time trying to reform the Democratic Party, meanwhile we're not building anything else, right? So that's why I was there at the Convergence. That's why I support the People's Independent Party, the Democratic Socialists, the Green Party, of course. Hell, I even take a look at libertarians if they get me one that's not crazy. So yeah, I'm for more inclusive. I'm for more including more voices. I think that I've been told that there no longer is a progressive movement. I think that's not true. I think what has happened is been co-opted to a large extent by the fake resistance. So they're the ones who have stepped in front. They've taken our buzzwords. Hell, they even taken the term progressive. So that's why I don't I'm just Tim Black, and glad to meet you. But I think that we have to do what's in the interest of our children. That's the way I always look at things. What's going to be best for my kids? More options will be best. We can't be held at the mercy of Democrats who, in fact, Democrats don't even know if they want to be Democrat or Republican. They don't fucking know, man. They don't. Come on, I watched the tape recently.
Get more and more blurred every day.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I just did before this show with you. I just did a video about the damn it. It's about the vote to reverse Dodd-Frank, to further, peel away Dodd-Frank in order to help the banks. And I'm like, dude, look who voted on that shit. Jim Kaine, what's this bastard? Doug Jones. I mean, the notorious asshole in Alabama who was supposed to be, oh, great, we got him instead of Warren Moore.
Voted for further Wall Street deregulation. That's your resistance.
That's it, bruh. And who's complaining about it? Well, we got Senator Elizabeth Warren. Hey, Chuck Schumer's complaining about it. I'm like, oh, shit, I hate Chuck, but I got to say, thank you, Chuck, keep complaining.
But actions speak louder than words, Tim. I mean, Chuck Schumer also could have called on the Democrats. He could have instilled something to call on the Democrats to not vote on it. He didn't do that.
He didn't.
So yeah, he's voting against it himself to show face. But as the minority leader, there's other steps he could have taken to prohibit it from moving forward. He didn't take any of those steps intentionally.
Window dressing to look to feign, like I said, feign. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
man. Dude, if we stay with these guys, if we think we're going to reform these guys without cutting off their source of money, they've proven, man. They've proven time and time again, Ron. They'd rather win. They'd rather lose than have a Bernie or a progressive in their office.
So, Tim, we got to wrap up here, and I want to end a certain way here. Edwin earlier in the chat said, Tim, you got a tech background. Why don't you make a whole new platform? Which no pressure, Tim, no pressure. But here's what I'm getting at with this. I stream on LiveMe as well, Tim, which you may want to look into that. The only thing is it doesn't work with the streaming distribution services. It doesn't work with Stream.io, unfortunately. LiveMe doesn't. So I stream off of two different devices. I have my phone going, and I have my I'm going off my computer. But I have some other colleagues and stuff that also do the LiveMe and also experiment with some other streaming platforms. And, one day we were all just talking and we were venting our frustrations about the different platforms. And my girlfriend actually said, why don't you guys just start your own streaming platform? And I don't think that's a terrible idea, especially if we had a theme. Maybe it was something like Stream Left, where it's all just, progressive and like-minded voices that are kind of doing their own streams. I don't have the tech know-how to do any of that. But hey, if anybody does, maybe that's got to be what's next. Maybe something like that's going to be next.
Yeah, yeah. I thought I was kind of hooked up with a guy that was trying to do something similar, and I think it's going to necessitate the current state of the censorship on all these platforms are going to produce, I think, some great groundbreaking ideas that's going to come out of this movement, man. We ain't done, and it's going to force it to happen. So I believe it.
All right, Tim. So where can people go to learn more about you? I know, like, where can they send a smoke signal out where you can show up at their house and talk to them?
Well, see me at tim@timblacktv.com. That's how you email me, and I'm at timblacktv.com, guys. I'm still here, just not live streaming.
All right, cool. So that's timblacktv.com. Check Tim out. See what he's going to do next. And I'm sure, I know you filed an appeal, right?
Yeah.
So you should hear something soon, presumably, right?
Right, definitely.
All right. And in the meantime, you're going to get the content out there. You're not just going to sit on the sideline.
Nah,
There's too much interesting shit going on.
There's too much shit going on, man. Got to talk about it, bro.
All right, Tim, thanks so much for doing this, buddy. Guys, we are out of time. You have been watching Get Your News On with Ron, the world's first viewer-curated streaming news show. Thank you guys so much for your questions for Tim. Tim, thanks for sitting in on the articles. You're the first person to ever do that, so that's pretty cool.
Hey, thank you, Ron, man. I had a ball, brother. It was fun.
Thanks so much, man. And you guys, you know the drill. Follow me on Twitter at Ron Placone. That's where you can go to tweet me the articles, or you can use our Reddit subsection, reddit.com/r/getyournewsonwithron. I wasn't able to hit that subsection today, because we had a lot going on with Tim and so forth. I hope you guys understand. But guys, great job. Follow me over on Twitter. I already said that. Sorry. RonPlacone.com. We have a lot of tour dates coming up in the works. Locally, got a cool thing in Los Angeles on 3/15. I have a new politics night that I'm starting over at the Sycamore Tavern. And that's on March 15th. Graham Elwood's on that show. I'm on that show. Raja Michaels is on that show, a great political comic. Lenny Shelton, Derek Lamos. Some of my favorite political comics in LA are all on that show. If you're in LA, come check it out and come tweet at me, and I'll put you on the guest list. There's a $10 cover, but if you tweet at me, I'll get you on the guest list. Just let me know. Also, if you are so able, patreon.com/Ron Placone. I want to expand this show. I want to invest in new equipment. I need your help to do it. Patreon.com/Ron Placone. Help make this show sustainable. Help move it to 2 hours. Want to do 2 hours. Guys, I feel naked without the guitar, but you know the drill. Whenever I have a guest, I don't have a guitar. I don't know why that's a rule. I made that rule up, but whatever. It's a rule. We do it every Tuesday through Friday. We do this show every Tuesday through Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We will see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. You've been watching Get Your News On with Ron. Stay safe in this crazy world of ours. Peace.